And our first guest this morning is Olexiy Haran, comparative politics professor from the University of Kyiv, the Mohyla Academy. Sir, a pleasure to have you with us this morning. Thanks for joining us. All right, so the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Development and Infrastructure, Oleksandr Kubrakov, and Minister of Agriculture, Mykola Solskyii, have both been dismissed from the Ukrainian parliament. Let's start with Mr. Kubrakov. What happened here? Mr. Kubrakov said...
Okay, hi.
Sure.
I suggest to start with Mr. Solskyii because it's easier to understand.
Okay.
He is Minister of Agrarian, how it's translated, of Agrarian Policy. And the case is very, very simple. So there are charges about bribes against him, and so he resigned. He resigned, and the parliament approved this resignation. So I think here everything is said, nothing to add.
All right, so he resigned, but will criminal charges be pressed against him as well, or no?
Yeah. The investigation is going on. So actually, I think, well, to a certain extent, it's good because it demonstrates that Ukraine is fighting corruption and doing everything which is possible. He represented the governing party, servant of the people. So again, so we see that even the governing party cannot close the eyes if there are cases of corruption. Now, regarding Kubrakov, the situation is more difficult, to explain. Kubrakov was vice prime minister on, well, it's quite a large, and he was responsible for development of communities, regional policy, and also infrastructure. So it's quite broad sphere of responsibility. So previously Kubrakov was only responsible for infrastructure, and in some cases he demonstrated that he is quite effective, especially with the start. To the left we see Kubrakov talking to President Zelensky. So he was quite effective. But there is also criticism about his activity. So he was promoted to vice prime minister, and in this capacity he concentrated quite a lot of power. And actually he had very, very good relations with President Zelensky, and he was one of the trusted people from President Zelensky. However, then something has happened. We don't know exactly what, but Zelensky lost his trust to Kubrakov, maybe because Zelensky was persuaded by his staff that Kubrakov is concentrating too much power, and that Kubrakov wants to have even more power. This is one possibility. And after that, the trust of Zelensky to Kubrakov is going down. So the formal reason for what's happening is the desire of the government to split this very, very large ministry into two ministries. Okay? And again, this is also very controversial. What can we say? That, by the way, there is a possibility that Kubrakov will remain a minister for infrastructure, which is very, very important for Ukraine. So this case is more controversial than the case of Solskyii.
That's right, and apparently Mr. Kubrakov also said that he wasn't made aware of this dismissal at all. There was no discussion with him beforehand by anyone, by neither the committee nor Mr. Zelensky.
Yes, he wasn't informed. He says that he wasn't informed by president, he wasn't informed by prime minister, and he didn't participate in the meetings of the governing party and also in the meeting of parliamentary commissions. So, which is not good, definitely. The procedure should be apparent, but again, should be transparent. But again, it seems that presidential office would like to keep him as a minister of infrastructure, not as vice prime minister, but as a minister of infrastructure.
It's a really interesting thing to see, because some might think that this role might be degrading in a way. And now these changes, I believe, are not confined only to these two gentlemen. We have also now Valery Zaluzhny, who is also being dismissed in a way, as he's now being moved to another post. And of course, now relations between now Volodymyr Zelensky and Zaluzhny have been strained, with disagreements over further mobilization plans and concerns also about Zaluzhny's broad popularity. And some say that he might be even potential political rival to Zelensky. So what are your thoughts on this? Because we do see that it's a broader now action.
No. I think we shouldn't, keep everything in one package. What happened to Zaluzhny was actually in February, and we have May right now. As I have said, the case with Solskyii is one thing. This is a fight against corruption. Kubrakov is another. With Zaluzhny, it was different. Again,
of course, but we have confirmation on the fact that he's going to be now an ambassador to UK. So this is, let's say, the latest development on the story, and that's why I'm bringing this to the table.
Okay. So actually, we knew that he was going to be appointed as this is not a news. So he was going to become he was sent actually by Zelensky to the next position of the ambassador in the UK, and now this is just a final moment when we received the so-called agreement from the British side, and finally Zelensky declared it officially. By the way, we don't know, because you mentioned several reasons why Zaluzhny was dismissed, but and they seemed to be, there is something, in this version, but basically we do not know what exactly were disagreements between Zaluzhny and Zelensky. So it's more about speculations. Definitely, Zaluzhny had huge popularity because he became a symbol of successful resistance of Ukrainians. But we should know that the Ukrainian counteroffensive in the last year was successful on the sea, but wasn't successful of land line. And the basic reason for that is that we didn't receive enough Western support for that to start counteroffensive. The support was delayed, and now actually we appeared in quite difficult situation because of the lack of Western support. So whether it was, some mistake of Zaluzhny or there were some other reasons why the counteroffensive on the land wasn't successful, so actually we don't know. This is a closed information. But Zaluzhny himself showed that he doesn't want, at least at this point, to become a political figure. So actually he didn't comment on this decision. He showed that he is in good relations with Zelensky, and then there was this decision on approving him as an ambassador to the UK, and to the best of my knowledge, Zaluzhny didn't object. Moreover, he said this would be the best option for me after my dismissal. So there are different cases, and we can talk about every case. But actually, there could be other changes in the government, definitely. But I think that at this point it's difficult, to generalize and to find something common in all these decisions. One thing that I should repeat is that actually the decisions are made in the office of president. That's true. And the parliament basically is only to approve these changes. So it wasn't initiated by the government, by the cabinet, according to our constitution, but it was decided in the presidential office, which reflects the reality, how we live.
All right, so it's very important to underline here. All of these decisions came from the president's office. Sir, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Sure.